Hey there, Angry Faithful. I just wanted to drop in, bend your ear a little bit, get your attention. So if you're not listening, drop what you're doing and pay attention to me because I'm here to inform you that not only can you get your daily, maybe if you're binging it, I'm not sure, that's entirely up to you, but you can multiply your doses of angry me fuckery by paying attention to all of the platforms upon which you can find either the dulcet tones of my voice and David's voice or my pretty face and David's not so pretty face. Anyways, digressing, we not only on we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we're on Rumble, we're on Google, Apple Podcast. We have a TikTok page. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and of course Facebook. So if you find yourself fuckery deprived, curl up with a nice hot mug of shut the fuck up and just listen. Open those ear holes and be prepared to be cream pied like it's the first time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, Angry Faithful. Today on Nerd Sports, we're going to talk about the interesting sport of World Championship beer pong. Well, it's called actually B-pong.
Sorry.
We're still ironing up our.
I know. I what I need to do is I just need to tell. I need to put everything in the do not disturb mode and with a special message like I'm currently recording my podcast. Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah. But we're still. Kai actually had an idea. You're gonna have an office. When you have your office and everything, you have like a little light that goes on. It says "Do not disturb," or you could buy actually a light that says "Do not disturb," and just hook it up and everything like that. But before we get into Johnny's interesting sports stuff, we have actually two news that's kind of sports related.
But yeah, one of them is very local to the Wichita Falls area.
Yes, Bobby Morris was found dead on his property with a single gunshot wound around 7 p.m. Monday, according to law enforcement officials. Would not confirm if it was suicide or not. What the thing with Bobby Morris, he's a coach at City View Independent School District. What had happened was there's allegations of misconduct. Basically, he might have just fondled. They had I hadn't divvied in too much into it.
Yeah. Hey, tell you what. I got to call my kid back real quick. It's like 3 minutes.
I got like two things. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna. Oh, okay.
Johnny's still getting everything ready for next week. So he's still got other things. So go ahead, take 3 minutes. I got this.
Oh no, I think we're handling it via text message.
Oh, okay. Anyways, Bobby Morrison was alleged for misconduct with one of his female students. Inappropriate. He left a suicide note, basically telling his family and his friends that he's sorry for what he's done, and that's the reason why he committed suicide. It's one of those things that he took his own life instead of going out and doing the long road of judicial.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing about Coach Morris is that it went a lot deeper than him. No pun intended, but for years there were several girls that had gone, not only, had like rebuffed his advances and tried to get out of, whatever, for lack of a better term, relationships he was having with them, but he had threatened. He had threatened to fail them. And told them I love you and all this, that, and the other. And then
Basically
would
being a
introduce these
pedophile.
girls to his wife, and like, they're like, what the hell?
What the fuck?
Right, exactly. So they went to the school administrators, they went to principals, they went to superintendents. Now, from my understanding, this may be a piece of misinformation. I'm not exactly sure I'm sure once the investigation is actually launched that we'll find out relationships, but it was my understanding that the superintendent is actually his father-in-law,
Oh wow.
right? So these girls, several girls went to the school board, went or not to the school board, they went to the superintendent, they went to the principal, and they were told, don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. And, the city of View swept it under the rug. And
That's bullshit.
yeah, I mean, to me, that's a systematic breakdown of the of protection that's built in for these students, whether they
Yeah.
be male or female, it doesn't matter. So, and yes, I'm assuming their genders, and we're not talking about just the 20 made up ones. We're talking about the two God given biological genders here. So, don't at me. You can at me all you want. I'm just not going to reply. I don't really care about, your convoluted, whatevers. And I know that that's going to ruffle feathers, but at this point, we've met. So, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Anyhow. So, but these girls, these victims, they were told, go away, don't tell anybody. And the damage that creates, to me, just kind of really, I mean, where else are they supposed to go? And it's like they're trying to push past this chapter in their lives. They're trying to get some kind of healing, right? And they're being denied that at every turn.
Yes. And
Well,
what's really
now that
sad is
all
the
this has
guy
come
is
out because
looks
social
like a
media.
creeper.
Well, it's not so much that. I mean, because you and I both know that we can't judge a book by its cover. I mean,
Yeah.
look at you. I mean, you're a great guy, but nobody would know that if they just looked at you. Come on.
True.
Just like people would assume that I'm a nice guy, but I'm kind of a flaming asshole, so there's that.
Actually, it's kind of reverse. What it is if when a person actually meets you and everything, I mean, when we first met, you were trying to be intimidating. You're like looking around and everything like that. And then when we
Oh
actually
no,
started
don't
talking
don't
and
don't get
everything,
me don't get me sideways. I am intimidating. However,
but you're just like a cute cuddly bear. You
it's
are,
not cute
man.
and cuddly, but there is nothing cute and cuddly about me.
Oh,
Let's get
you're
that
just a
straight.
cute cuddly bear.
Dude, I'm just I'm a decent human being,
Yeah.
but at least I like to think so. There's other people out there in this world that might beg to differ with you, but they lost the ability and the right to voice their opinion when X, Y, and Z. Anyways, moving on.
Explicitly
It's
edit.
not the fact that this guy looked like a creeper or anything like that. I mean, he obviously passed enough of the sniff test to get the job in the first place, right?
Yeah.
He made a conscious decision to make the decisions and take the actions that he took. Do I fault the school district? Absolutely. Because even when the
one
first
thing on
even
that though,
from the first allegation that came out, he should have been removed from
yes,
that job. He should have been suspended. He was being protected. Now, for whatever reason that was, I don't know whether it's because um the program that he was coaching has a winning record. So I mean, were they putting the wins and loss record or as a premium over the safety of the girls involved in the program?
I hope to
That's
God
what it
not.
looks like. Well, think about Texas high school sports as a whole, specifically football, right?
Yeah.
Football players, for the most part, they have a different standard applied to them. Now, does it sound like I'm coming down on football? Yes. Am I? No. I understand that in state of Texas, high school football is a religion. However,
Yeah.
these players are held to a different standard. They get away with certain things that the normal student body doesn't, and it's because they play football, and especially if it's a successful football program like South Lake Carroll or Midland Odessa or Permian Basin, whatever. Especially some, I mean, your powerhouse
football programs that, your perennial playoff teams, your perennial state champion teams, those players, short of committing a murder, they get away with basically about everything,
I mean, look at
especially the
what was
smaller
it,
towns.
Varsity Blues and Friday Night. Well, Varsity Blues was a big
Well,
one.
Varsity Blues is an incredible, like, over exaggeration of the overall mindset of the football community. However, Friday Night Lights, that was a glaring conviction, and a lot of people, when that book came out, the guy that wrote that book, he was banned from Midland, Odessa. He really was. From in the Permian Basin, he was banned from that area. Like, people hated him. They're like, "How dare you?" I mean, it's because they couldn't stand the fact that he shined a light on what went on behind the curtain.
Yeah.
It's like you all we want you to look at is the magic, the lights and the smoke and the mirrors, but pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, kind of a thing. The
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz hated getting exposed, but going back to City View, it's a smaller school district outside the control of the WFISD, which in itself has huge glaring problems. And I mean, let's not get started with the two brand new high schools that they didn't need to build. They actually, from my understanding, that whole project has come to a grinding halt because they were duped into thinking that they needed to build these two multi-million-dollar complex or campuses, and then they allowed people from outside the area. And in I think in the case of Mrs. Patterson, the one that not Harry Patterson's widow, but if somebody from another Patterson family came in who said, we don't need to, we don't need to retain the names. We don't, we need to start over from scratch. And so that's when they came up with what, Legacy and then West, or whatever crap names they came up with. But it ended up, it's going to end up costing the Wichita Falls community millions of dollars over the next few years. And over the next few years, it's and one of the bigger problems is that especially specifically with the extracurricular departments, like all of the athletics, band, everything, right? Because now they got to rebrand. Anyway, so because now you're going to have to re-outfit everything. You're going to have to get new merchandise, from stickers to t-shirts to hats to the crap that you sell the alumni and student body at the games, to the uniforms themselves, right? Instead of keeping it the Wichita Falls High Coyotes and the Rider Raiders, you could have saved a couple of $100,000 just in uniforms alone, to by keeping the same school names. If they'd have done that, fine, save yourself some money, because now, instead of spending a couple of $100 million on two school campuses that you didn't need, I mean, they honestly, what they could have done is they could have built because the building that Wichita Falls High School is in now, it's dilapidated. The third floor is actually condemned. Right? They just hold. I mean, the entirety of that student body is contained in the first two floors, plus the basement level. Right? That there's an entire third floor in that building that nobody uses because it's not able to accept the weight and the traffic.
Where's this at?
Right? Old High.
Oh yeah,
It's downtown. Yeah. Because that building is like I think it's
about
right around, or maybe a little bit over 100 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, whereas Ryder was built in the 60s.
Mhm.
And so, you know, in the Ryder Ojai football rivalry it was at least at one point, I don't know if it's still the case, but at least at one point it was listed in the top 10 rivalries or high school rivalries nationwide, right? And now you've got this identity, this vacuum, you know, this identity vacuum, you know, or you get like a political vacuum or a power vacuum where people try to rush in and seize power. You've got this identity vacuum where you've got an entire generation, like an entire, well, multiple generations of residents or people who at least attended those schools, the alumni that are going to be completely detached. And then you've got this brand new going forward thing where it's like you've got two schools that really have nothing to do with anything the community has been about, right? And I get that every town wants to grow, everything wants to evolve, and they want to become a better version of themselves. But I think that with the two new high schools or anytime that you build a new campus in any kind of town, somebody's always the communities, the smaller communities are always trying to be like the bigger communities. Like, you know, like they say that Wichita Falls is biggest problem is that the city council wants to be like Dallas so bad that they jack it up for everybody else. You know, like one of the alluring charms that Wichita Falls at least used to have is that it was a very tight, close-knit community where, you know, you could actually come and raise a family. And, you know, and I'm getting notifications on my phone all the time. You've got coaches that are committing suicide because they don't want to face the music for the actions that they've taken because they were touching little girls. And you know, you've got murders, you've got suicides, you've got, you know, traffic fatalities, you've got people doing, you know, standoffs with the police department. You know, and it just seems kind of like what happened? What happened to our society? What happened to, you know, what happened to our community? And I'm sitting there looking at all these news events that are coming out. I'm just sitting there going, and I'm glad that I got out of there. I really am. And I worry about my family. I worry about my kids. And I'm like, they're there. And I mean
Yeah.
that if it wasn't for the fact that Shepherd Air Force Base is there, and you've got these companies like Howmet or uh, Cryovac that are still there, that are still trying to operate, Wichita Falls would dry up. It really would.
Well, from the longest
Because
time,
the city council, like, well, yeah, go ahead.
for the longest time, either you had like maybe 4 options in town.
Mhm.
Well, 5 options technically. You can go to food service or one of the big department stores or something like that and work. But to actually make money, you had 4 options: work for Certainty, work for Howmet, go into the military, or ranch and oil.
Yeah, I mean, and even like you said, with the military option, you're still removing yourself from that community. You're getting out, you're seeing what's outside the city limit,
Oh
what's
yeah,
outside the county line.
I am so glad I did that.
But Wichita Falls was like notorious for being a black hole,
Yes, and it
right?
still
I mean,
is.
it is. I mean, I believe with my entire heart that I've broken free of that gravitational well, you know. So I mean, I left when I joined the army and went off. I stayed gone for 7 years. I
Mm.
ended up coming back. That's where my entire family is. It's where my parents are. It's where all my siblings were. Um, and I stayed there for 20 years. Now I live out here by the coast. So, I mean, I'm South Texas and dude, I fucking love it. I really do.
Mm.
And I'm going to get rain today. You know, and I mean, I have to worry about things like tropical depressions, tropical
Oh
storm
yeah,
systems,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
hurricanes, you know, crap like that. And I'm fine with it. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. You know, yeah, it's muggy down. So what? You know, I mean, at least, and you know, and I'm sure that you know, the longer you stay places, you're going to start seeing those shortcomings, those deficiencies as far as like how the government runs that stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know, Lake Jackson's got a better feel to it than Wichita Falls does. And I'm incredibly, um, yeah, it hurts my heart, because I'm like, this is where I'm from. Now, an embarrassing footnote: I'm not a native Texan, and it wasn't my fault. I was born while my dad was on active duty with the Navy. I was born in San Diego. I don't claim California. I graduated from Ryder. I graduated in Wichita Falls. That's where my home of record was when I enlisted in the military. That's where I went back to. That's where I spent the last 20 years of my life. That's where, you know, uh, my two youngest boys are from. That's where they were born. It's where my parents live. It's where my family's from. So, that's that's where I'm from, not necessarily where I call home. I call here home, because this is where after next week my wife lives. It's where her sister lives, and it's where her kids live. It's where our kids live. You know, so this is home. But Wichita Falls is always going to be where I came from. And to see things like Coach Morris doing the things that he did, and it was getting swept under the rug by City View ISD.
Well, it's now the DA's office is opening up a full investigation on City
Yeah.
View
Well,
ISD.
see, they took it
high school.
away.
They're
They
not.
took it
They're
out of
not.
their
They're not
hands.
sweeping it under the rug because he committed suicide.
Well, they
They're-
can't now. They can't
Yeah.
now because the DA got involved. So the DA, the attorney, well, I'm hoping that it gets involved on the state level, because you leave anything to the hands of John Gillespie, the district attorney for Wichita County, and he will screw the pooch on it. He
This is-
absolutely will. He will screw the pooch, because he's notorious for, I'd say, 75% of the child molestation cases or pedophilia cases that he has come across his desk. He plea deals with the not the plaintiff, respondents, right? That's the official term for the suspect, right? For the person who's guilty of the crime, right? Child abuse, same thing, right? In fact, let's see here. What is this here? Hold on. Like I get updates from the Texoma homepage app still, right? They had an escaped inmate escaped from the state hospital in Vernon. He's still at large. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell, man? And I'm glad that that at least some government, entity took the investigation away from the school district, because now we're either going to see a couple more suicides from the high ranking people in the City View ISD, or they're going to step down and retire, and then they're going to absolutely disappear off the grid, because they're not going to want to be held responsible for their shortcomings, for their inability to do their job. Right. I mean, you're responsible for the well-being and care and the health and the education, first and foremost, of those students. Right.
Yeah.
So they failed in their job. I mean, I hate to be this way about it, but I mean, if Mr. Morris had his mind set on doing the things that he did, he was going to get at least one. But the second that first girl came to them with an allegation, with a complaint, they needed to put him on administrative leave, with or without pay. I'm not going to make that call, but they failed in their job by telling those girls not to tell anybody, and then they swept it under the rug. If the investigation by the government it's going to be done correctly, they're going to find out why. And then they need to hold those individuals as just as culpable as they would have for Coach Morris had he not committed suicide. Now, there is a conspiracy theory out there already that was floated on the Rants and Raves page for Wichita Falls that he might have possibly been murdered, but that's
I wouldn't
extreme.
investigate that shit. I'm like,
I wouldn't go down that route. I mean, I doubt very seriously that he was Epstein, but yeah, I mean, honestly, because I mean, he did put a cryptic Facebook post out prior to his suicide about how, he was sorry for his wife and kids and that he failed them. And then they go to do a welfare check at the house and they find him dead in his house at Iowa Park. But I don't know, man. The whole thing smells to high hell. It doesn't pass the sniff test at all. I think that more the people than him were involved in it, and I really hope that for the sake of the families and most importantly for the sake of the victims, that they do find out everybody, that everybody was involved, that was involved with the cover up and or the acts themselves, that they're held accountable. And I'm talking about feet to the fire kind of a thing, because that's absolute crap. It's a complete and utter violation of the trust that we put into our school officials, whether that they be private, public, doesn't matter. Even at the collegiate level, there are lines that must not be crossed, and these people chose to cross that line egregiously, and we can't allow that to continue. And this needs to be something that can be considered a teachable moment. And when I say teachable moment, I'm talking about for everybody else. I mean, the type of punishment that we hand out for them needs to be kind of like the putting the rest of the the educational community on notice. Like, if you choose to do these types of things, this is going to be just a taste of what can happen. So, but I don't know. I mean, it's tragic. I hate it for his family, because now not only are they having to deal with his death, these kids are having to go without their father.
Yeah.
But now that their family is going to be put through the ringer by not only having to live with the knowledge that their father and her husband was a complete monster, but their name is now going to be publicly forever linked with these acts, with this period in time. So, but
the other news
yeah,
is this is really weird. I don't know if she's related to Lance Armstrong, but it's Kathy Armstrong manhunt. This has been going on a while. She's been wanted for it was a 43-day search from Armstrong. 34 was arrested. Good Lord, I hate when they do this freaking okay. Was a fugitive and murder of a professional cyclist, Annie Wilson. Dang it. Oh God. Okay. But
what is
anyways,
she famous for?
She has been captured in Costa Rica after 43-day search, authorities announced Thursday. Austin police has issued a warrant on May 17th for her arrest.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm saying, what is she famous for? I mean, not the act of why she was being hunted, but like, what did she do? Was she an athlete or what?
I'm trying to look up. No, it ended up doing this video at the same time describing the whole fucking thing. Let me see if I can pull up a better site. That's all I could get. I don't think she was actually famous for anything. It was the cyclist that she killed was famous.
Okay, then no. All right. See, because when I type
that's
in
what I
Kathy
got
Armstrong,
confused of
just
the
like a
whole
normal
damn
girl.
thing.
Yeah, so she killed a famous cyclist.
Yeah, a
Okay.
professional cyclist. Let me.
Well, then fuck her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, she can go to hell and die. Yeah, no, if they caught her in Costa Rica, fine, great, awesome.
Good. Hold on. Every site that I've gone to has a little video attached to this bullshit.
Yeah, well, then just stay away from that story, man, until we get something from like a bigger, like ESPN or something like that. Let that story develop before we decide to weigh in on it, just because I don't want us to get lost in the clickbait. I mean,
no.
See, the problem
right
with
now
trying to
it's
report
just
on,
right now it's just they found her. She was well known at. Oh, she was well known about a. Okay, one sec. Let me see if I can get this. Okay. That's well known. But she's alleged of oh, I forgot her name. Yeah. Uh, allegedly she shot 25-year-old Morhara Mo Wilson, a professional cyclist who suffered a fatal gunshot wound on May 11th after she had gotten out of dinner with Armstrong 35-year-old boyfriend, Colin Strickland, another pro rider.
Okay, so love triangle gone horribly wrong.
Yeah,
She was-
basically
okay.
that's yeah, but
Okay.
it's still, allegedly until proven guilty. Well, we'll keep everything updated.
Yes. To quote
Because
Letterkenny,
it's the biggest news right
allegedly.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Baseball's coming up to the All-Star break. You're starting to see teams play a very unbalanced schedule this year. That's going to be something that gets corrected as per one of the conditions of the new CBA that was agreed to between the owner group and the players union. Because for about a month and a half, teams weren't playing teams within their own division. So now, just leading up to the All-Star break, that you're going to see a lot of interdivisional games being played, and it's really going to define the haves from the have-nots. It's going to, yeah, it is. Dude, this year's schedule is it's rough. Robert Manfred, aka Man Clown, Man Fraud, the worst commissioner that professional baseball has ever seen, was quoted during this week stating that he would love to see the playoffs expanded to all 32 teams, which is, in my mind, nothing more than, hey, let's hand out participation trophies. Oh, we want every market to experience playoffs. Well, no. How about we not? Because you dilute the playoff field. I mean, like, legitimately, we keep coming back to the whole basketball reference where, the season was like 3 weeks long and then everything else for the rest of the year is nothing more than playoffs. Let's try to avoid that. I mean, we're up to now, I think 10 teams or 12 teams for the playoffs. Let's not. I mean, come on. I mean, the playoffs is supposed to be a tournament to show either who the elite teams are or to really find out who the hot team is at that particular time. Because a lot of times the World Series is not won by the best team; it's won by the team who was hot at the right time. So it's let's not water it down. I mean, really, let's not water this down. And the owner group, the ownership keeps voting this asshole in extending his contract and keeping him as commissioner of baseball, because why? He bends over backwards and he licks their taint, or the, what is it called, the parentesius or something like that. It's like, quit tonguing their ball bags. These owners get off on it. And I'm talking from the Steinbrenners to John Henry and the Fenway ownership group to every other group in the major leagues. All 32 teams. Enough is enough. Really. Tired of seeing the game that defines our national pastime being watered down and diluted. We've
that's
got
happening with a lot of stuff.
it's
really
yeah,
sad.
it's with every sport, but I mean, baseball,
Not even sport. It's almost with everything.
everything. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, oh, Roe v. Wade. And like, shut up. You've got all these people that are like, oh, well, the government's telling me what I can and can't do with my body. Well, no, that's not it. Just, if you actually read what Roe versus Wade was, is it provided federal protection. That particular subject should have always been a states' rights issue.
Mhm.
If you live in state A and want an abortion, and if that state doesn't allow it, then go to state B. I mean, come on, leave it up to the states. Seriously. I mean, then we can get lost in the weeds about that entire argument, but I don't want that. I don't want this episode. I don't want this show to devolve into that kind of a thing.
That's what the hell it's supposed to be for.
Yeah, it's what the hell is for. But I mean, we've made no mistake at all that we at Angry Me Production are a pro Second Amendment company, and
I mean,
believe
we don't
firmly
have
that
any
every
guns
other
around
amendment.
us, do we? It's in our freaking our logo.
I mean,
Don't point the barrel to the camera.
oh, I'm not. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, really. But I mean, I may or may not keep a Glock in my nightstand table, my nightstand drawer. I really do. But it's I don't know. We're gonna get off into the weeds on that, but don't add us with. I mean, you can add us with your political beliefs and your rants and everything like that, but just be willing. Come into it fully knowing and accepting the terms and conditions of coming at us. That if you come at us, you've agreed to the terms and conditions that we're going to enter into a conversation with you. We're willing to hear your side, but you have to be willing to hear our side as well. And you can't get all pissy. You can't get all huffy and puffy. You can't go dress a certain way or black your eyes out, or just don't go all emo on us, because it really, and this is where the joke comes in, people. If you go full emo on us and decide to get all moany and groany about it, wait for it. We will cut you from the production. See what I did there? I'm getting a high five over here. But yeah, anyway, so I mean, baseball's coming down as far as to the All-Star break, which we really start to see certain teams decline. We start to see other teams get hot. I mean, it just momentum. It's an ebb and flow. That's why it's a 6-month grind. It's a 162 game season for a reason. It just, but Robert Manfred just needs to quit fucking with my game. He really does. I mean, honestly. So, but moving on to football, not really seeing a whole lot of football news. The
haven't even got.
The NFL is moving to try and indefinitely suspend Deshaun Jackson.
Which is good. That's one thing I was going to bring up.
It is. However, it leaves Cleveland kind of in a very particular, unique and untenable position, because they basically sent Baker Mayfield packing without actually sending him packing, right? They're not going to play him, but they're not going to release him or trade him either. So it's like, what are you doing? Like, well, what has he done for us? Well, I don't know. Maybe he helped you guys win your fucking first playoff game in like 30 something years. Yeah, come on. Or is it 20 something years? Regardless. Yeah, I mean, you sit there and you go for like for like a year and a half, almost 2 solid seasons, and he happened to be the quarterback at helm who helped orchestrate your first win in however many years, however many seasons, and he helped get your fan base excited. He gave your fan base something to cheer about, and now you're sitting there throwing this guy under the bus, and you're giving him the Axl Rose treatment, where you want to be a part of the band, but you don't necessarily want him playing, singing lead vocals anymore. And I don't want to say that Baker Mayfield has been, become the face of the franchise, but and then of all things, Cleveland had the unique opportunity to become Ohio's team. And then you let the Bengals come in. You got Joe Burrow leading the Bengals, the Cincinnati fucking Bengals, to the Super Bowl. Oh, well, they didn't play a very strong schedule. Do we need to remind y'all how they got to the Super Bowl? What their playoff road looked like getting to that game? Yes, we know that they lost in the Super Bowl, but they had a very, very conceivable opportunity to win that game. All that aside, the Browns, they're going to continue to be the Browns. I mean, Tom Brady's coming back for another year. Do I see him winning another Super Bowl before he decides to finally hang it up? Not with the Buccaneers. I really don't. Ron Gronkowski decided to finally actually call it a career. He's officially retired. So he's not going to be the tight end target for Tom Brady next year. Their punter, Bradley Pinion, he signed with the Falcons after getting released from the Buccaneers. Let's just kind of put it this way. If Tom Brady gets to the Super Bowl next year and actually manages to pull it off and win and retire on top, I don't envy his job next year. I really don't, because that is going to be an incredibly hard mountain to scale.
Yeah.
Absolutely hard mountain to scale. I don't have a lot of football news. I mean,
we didn't talk about NHL.
I'm getting there. I was just about to move on. Moving on to the NHL, the Stanley Cup final was finally played. The Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning played for Lord Stanley's Cup. And I really, 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 really wanted Colorado to win that. I did call that. I said I thought it was going to take them 6 games, and it took them 5. So
That's good.
yeah, but Colorado managed to come out on top. They won their 3rd Stanley Cup in franchise history, the first in 20 years. Man, I'm happy for that club. I really am. Tampa Bay came in basically kind of as the favorites. If I remember right, Tampa Bay was actually the defending Stanley Cup champions, but could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on it. I really don't care at this point. So now we're just looking forward to the. Actually, no, I did take them 6 games, so I did call it actually. Now, to give Tampa Bay their credit, I mean, the games that they did lose ended up being an overtime loss, but loss is a loss. It doesn't matter if. Actually, no, one of them. 2. See, 1, 2. Yeah, 2 of the games that Tampa Bay lost in that series, 2 of the 4 were overtime losses. Game 1 was a 3-4 victory by Colorado, and then Game 4 was a 3-2 win by Colorado. So, I mean, when Tampa Bay did manage to win, they let me see here. Yeah, I mean, the one blowout win was a 6-2 win by Tampa Bay in Game 3. And that was really it, because Game 5, Colorado had a chance to clinch it on home ice in Game 5, and they lost in the 3rd period to Tampa Bay 3-2. And yeah, it'd been nice to see Colorado win it on home ice at the Ball Center, but and Ball is in BALL, Ball Jars, Mason Jars Ball, the company that owns them. Anyway, it would have been nice to see Colorado win it on home ice in front of their fans. But I think that, winning it in Tampa Bay's house in front of their fans, it's going to make them salty for next year. Tampa Bay might have a couple more runs in them in their current iteration. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they do in free agency. I'm expecting my Bruins to come back pretty strong next year. A lot of people are looking at the Dallas Stars to kind of retool a little bit and come back a lot stronger than they were this year. They've got a new head coach. We'll see what kind of free agency signings that they make over the summer. But I don't know. The NHL season is pretty much wrapped up. The NBA's wrapped up. I don't want to talk about the Warriors winning. I really don't care. Because my Celtics kind of just gave up at the end there. And well, I don't want to talk about that. But congratulations to Steph Curry, winning another championship without superstar players backing him up. But anyway, so let me see here. Oh, yeah, for the next 2 months, the only professional sports league besides NASCAR that is going Major League Baseball. So you're welcome. NASCAR news. They just visited Nashville Super Speedway. Chase Elliott won an extended race because there was rain, lightning. Mother Nature was just really kind of doing her best to piss all over that parade. The lightning strike delays that extended the red flag periods by like at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. Anytime that you get a lightning strike, I think with it's in a 10-mile radius, you have a 30-minute clock that starts from the time that lightning hit to you get the all clear. And anytime within that 30 minutes you get another lightning strike, the clock starts over. So they finally
And
got
Kurt
the race
Bosch
in.
went to second on that.
Yeah, Kurt Busch, not Bosch. Busch.
Bush.
As in the
Damn.
beer. Yes. Chase Elliott won. So the Dawsonville pool room in Dawsonville, Georgia, got to sound the siren, sorry, at midnight Georgia time, which is fine. I'm sure that the residents of Dawsonville were okay with it because they are all about them, the Elliott family. But man, I really don't have a lot. We went on a pre-wedding vacation to Kerrville. Well, no, the Kerrville Ingram area right down there on the Guadalupe. Stayed at a resort there in the hill country. It was really beautiful. I got my two boys, Colin and Reagan, for the next, for a 42-day period this summer. And I'm excited, man. I've got them with me, and we're just trying to mesh all these personalities together to finally make us an official family. And we are looking at next Wednesday. I'm gonna be
What's
married
happening
man.
next week?
Next
Is
Wednesday.
that really? Huh?
That's next week,
Weird.
dude.
Huh.
Yeah, next week. I'm excited, man. We're gonna be in Wichita Falls on the 5th for
Quick
the
question.
rehearsal. And then quick answer.
Did you score us a speaker?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna have to run an extension cord from
I got
'cause,
that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. So I mean,
no. I forgot about it, and then I was like, oh shit.
well, I talked to one of the building committee guys for the American Legion Post, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't care. Go ahead and use
I
it."
had plans. I don't know if it would have worked or not, but
Well,
I
no,
had plans.
they've got a really good speaker system. He was just kind of like, "Oh, are you going to need a mic?" And I'm like, "No, it's going to be a small setting. We're going to be right outside under the trees next to Wichita, Lake Wichita. But we're going to be overlooking the water, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be a short little 15-20 minute ceremony, and then we're going to pack everything up, and we're going to convoy over to the Highlander House downtown on Scott, and that's where we're going to have our reception. And after everybody disperses, the family's going to go over to the hotel where we're staying, going to kind of carry the party over there. And then on the next day, on the 7th, we're packing everybody up and we're coming back down here. And my daughter's actually going to be there. We're flying her in from Nashville on the morning of the 4th. We're picking her up from the airport down here. She's going to stay with my parents the 2 nights that we're there. And then she's flying home from here down here on the 8th. So, I mean, I'm excited. My oldest son, Chauncey, he's he lives in Amarillo. He's going to be my best man. He's coming in on the 6th, really early that morning. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Her and I have written our own vows. So it's going to be, I'm just ready. I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to it. Finally get my wedding ring with my, my Fenway warning track, in it. And, we get to put the wedding band on her ring, and I'm just so ready. I'm absolutely ready. I'm nervous. I'm, I'm a little scared, but it's not for the reasons. It's got nothing to do with cold feet or anything like that. I mean, it's just a new chapter starting. Our families are going to finally officially become one, and I'm just I'm excited, man. I really am. I'm just the happiest that I think I've ever been in my entire life, and I'm just ready.
And this
But
is the whole cuddly teddy bear part.
hey, you get me to talking about my wife, and I will not shut up. So but I've got for our listening audience, our angry faithful, for those of you watching on Rumble and YouTube, on camera for the first time, joke time with Colin. Now, I'm going to hand the headphone and the microphone off to him. So we'll still get his entrance, everything like that. So I'm going to hand off the headphone here real quick. Let me get you pulled up so you can see. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're going to have to stand close. Ladies and gentlemen, oh yeah, check out this t-shirt that I bought for him at the Alamo. Hold my beer, Davy Crockett. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, angry faithful, including our super fan, the time of the week that you have all come to love, wait anxiously upon, and for. It's joke time with Colin. You don't have to hold it up. So there you go. Go for it.
Who's the most popular guy in the nudist colony? Guy with a cup in each hand and holding 12 donuts.
So because this is his first time on the headphone and the microphone and in front of the camera, ladies and gentlemen, we have a triple feature this week. So that's joke number one.
How do you circumcise a hillbilly? Kick his sister in the jaw.
All right.
It's still
One
funny.
more.
It's still funny.
A dad and his son are walking in the park, and the son sees two dogs having sex. Then he asks his dad, "What are they doing?" The dad goes, "They're making a puppy." Later that night, he walks in having sex. He asks Dad, "What are you guys doing?" The dad's like, "We're making you a little brother." The kid's like, "Well, flip her over. I want a puppy."
Okay. Here, hold the microphone for a second. All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's my genetic code on display for your eyes and ear holes. You're welcome. Okay. So when we went to the hill country for our little pre-wedding vacation, we picked up the boys in Wichita Falls and drove back down. So we went to San Antonio. Colin, you're going to want to stay in here for this because this is going to be a proud moment for me as a dad. You have seen my Facebook post where I'm flipping Joe Biden's head off, right? You know, picking his nose. We went into the wax museum, and then there was Joe Biden and his frail gloriousness, right? My son, my kid, the one who brings you our jokes on a weekly basis, did this. And so
when I saw him, I'm like,
I was like, okay, I can't very well just sit there and let him have all the glory, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those of you listening exclusively on Amazon, Apple Podcast, or Spotify, the first picture was my son Colin giving the double birds to a wax representation of the shaman chief, Joe Biden. And the second picture that I showed was me crouching down and showing everybody just how incredibly small his Becker was, or is he tiny Becker? Because, you know, he constantly on a daily basis shows us his tiny dick energy. But
Yeah, what we're
Oh.
going oh shit.
what?
No, I'm trying what are you doing? Well, I'll have to do it. We'll probably end up doing it on Monday. What are you doing on Monday?
Um, picking up my daughter from the airport and making it a point to do probably one of the more patriotic things on the 4th of July, and that is have a game of catch with this dude right here.
Shit, that's right. We can try to film on Sunday
Okay.
because we still need to get a what the hell episode. I'm gonna do the Psychos and Sociopaths tomorrow. Don't
What? This? I probably just blew out speakers in Maria's truck.
probably. But I want us to. I know I'm gonna do an episode with
I
Wade.
can
Well,
hear
actually,
my
no, I'll do it
dog
with Wade.
barking in the other room.
I'm gonna do the what the hell
Sorry, go ahead.
episode with Wade on Saturday, hopefully,
Okay.
through Zoom, so we don't have to worry about that. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do Cyclones and Sociopaths. I'll probably just do it over Jesse James.
Okay.
But are you gonna be able to do that tomorrow or no?
Tomorrow, pretty sure I can. I don't think I've got anything planned tomorrow as far as like,
Just text me.
yeah. Now bear in mind, people, yes, I will make it a point to, in a priority, to make sure that you get to hear the dulcet tones of my voice and gaze upon this mug at least once a week, doing the sports show that I have endearingly created. But I mean, as you can imagine, less than a week out from my wedding, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that I need to be able to make sure I got taken care of. But
Yeah,
yeah,
after hopefully
I need to go out
after
and find a mic stand tomorrow. But the week of July, let's see here, 10th through the 16th, the at least that Nerd Sports will be done seaside. We'll be at the beach house. Yeah, we'll be at the beach house for that week. What? So my son is sitting here nudging me, wanting me to tell everybody the story about how he murdered 2 boys at the Wax Museum, or the Ripley's, believe it or not, right? It was the Ripley's. It was in the Ripley's thing, right? Where, like, you know, you go in, it's like the interactive theater where you go in and do like the different selection experiments and stuff like that, right? Well, they had a 2-way mirror there that, you know, you could, like, you know, if you had a superpower, some kind of like weird ability, you could show it off, right?
Yeah.
But you got all these people trying to like stretch their neck and do like weird crap in front of the mirror, but nobody knows that it's a 2-way mirror. Well, he figured it out. He got behind the mirror. You got these 2 boys that are standing in front of the mirror and they're posing out. They're doing all this crazy, stupid stuff, right? And one kid gets really close to the mirror and he smacks the mirror, right? This kid apparently jumps back and the other kid thinks that he's got it figured out. So he gets really close to the mirror and Colin pops it again, even harder. This kid apparently falls. He steps back so hard that the soul left his body and he trips over his dad who was standing behind him. And Colin is back there behind this mirror, just absolutely dying. You know, and this is what I get when I leave him unsupervised with his older stepbrother and younger stepbrothers and his brother. You know, it's like the boys were safe downstairs, and we were in this theater, whatever. And I'm off with my fiance, her sister, my soon-to-be in-laws. We're looking at different things, right? Like, the room that's got the two different corners that are different heights, and you can, it's an optical illusion. You can make yourself look taller or shorter, right?
Mhm.
Just like the little neat stuff, right? These boys are out there snatching souls. And I'm
You
sitting there
know,
going,
if it was us, we would do the same.
oh, you damn right we'd be doing the same thing. Absolutely. Absolutely be doing the same thing. And
But we would have the forethought of recording this bullshit.
and he actually mentioned that he was pissed off, and I quote, "I'm pissed that I didn't record it." And I asked him, I was like, "Dude, did you get video?" And he goes, "No, I'm pissed that I didn't record it." I'm sitting there going, see, you need to keep these types of things in mind, and it's like, okay, so we went and we ate at Bubblegum Shrimp Company on the Riverwalk, right? When we were down there in San Antonio, and it's raining and everything like that. And the street entrance for Bubba Gump was closed. So you had to actually go down onto the Riverwalk just to get in, right? Which not a problem. You know how there's a time and a place to be savage, but yet other times you need to actually be a decent human being to be an example for everybody else, right?
Sure.
Okay. At least that's the lies that we tell ourselves as adults, so that way we can get away with being an actual, like, everyday human. We can actually interact with other human beings on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's raining, and the Riverwalk itself, it's got those slate stones that, and it's slick, right? Because you got water running down off the top of the buildings, and it's actually going across the Riverwalk itself and into the river, which, by the way, it's only 3 feet deep because they're canals, right? They're all
but here's
Anyways.
the thing: I wouldn't toss anybody in that river only because,
I wouldn't either, but I do know guys that scuba dive that because they pull thousands of dollars a month in lost stuff out of it.
Yeah, I can understand
Sunglasses,
that.
phones, wallets with cash in them.
Yeah, okay.
They're like, I mean, they're
well,
rebreathing,
Yeah.
But there's this kid, and he's trying to parkour. He's trying to run across the damn wet. Where some of it is running down or whatever, right? And it's like steps, and it's a legitimate runoff place, right? I mean, you look like, okay, that was done on purpose because it looks like something where water is funneled into, right? He loses his footing, damn near loses a leg, right? I'm just sitting like his leg bends backwards, right? And I'm sitting there going, "Ooh, okay." And his dad's looking at, like, you can't really tell who his dad's looking at because he's doing one of these, like, and like, are you looking at me or are you kid? Yeah, I can't tell. Anyway, okay. So it's either he got hit really hard or his mom made it with a pug. I'm sorry. That was fucked up. I'm sorry. Okay. So
no, you're not. No.
I have to be nice. This is another lie I have to tell myself as an adult. Because dadgummit, I want people to hang out with me. Dude. Anyway, so this kid bites it, right? And I'm walking with Colin. We're walking to the restaurant. See this happen. What does Colin do? He does this. Ha! So I mean, he like points at this kid, loud as fuck, dude. He's like, ha! And I'm like, dude. And I walk over because this kid's grabbing his knee like he's in obvious pain. And the dad's just like, and the mom's over there going, I know habla parenting. And I'm like, I go over there and I'm like, all right, so this kid, obviously at this point, he's having a hard time walking. And I'm like, all right, come here, let me take a look at it. I do the whole lateral check to make sure that his knee didn't, he didn't tear a tendon or, ligament or something. And I'm like, all right, flex the knee for me, kind of a thing. And I tell his dad in the best broken Spanglish that I can come up with, get him back to home or get him back to the hotel and put ice on his knee for 20 minutes. 2-0. Okay. Dose, I whatever it is, 20 in Spanish. And he's like, okay. I was like, he will be okay. Not like this. I didn't do this. I didn't look at the dad and go, okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. See, everybody who is watching on YouTube, I fucking got you. All right. Including David. Just hit yourself right now because I can't, there you go. Harder.
No.
Harder. Shut up. That's fucky. All right. God, I hate it when you fucking whine like that. All right. And so, holy shit. Okay.
Oh God.
It's a joke, people, not a dick.
Maria's probably
Yeah.
dying on the road right
These are the jokes,
now in the
people. It's not a
glow-
dick. Quit taking it so fucking hard.
in a flaming ball right now because of that. But
Well, it's
anyway,
funny you said flaming because, the whole,
yeah.
yeah. God, you still got me.
You still
Is
got
this still
me.
Pride
I
Month? We
feel
can't
so-
make those jokes yet. It's still Pride Month, right? We can't make those jokes yet.
No, we can still.
Yeah, no, fuck it. We can make those jokes. If you don't like it, practice your constitutional right, your human right to walk the fuck away.
Yeah. Which ironically Paramount did. They were being they were saying is like we want you to cancel this episode or this show and everything because Walt Disney and HBO and a lot of stuff like they don't do like certain episodes anymore. They get rid of certain episodes. Anyways, well, Paramount said no,
Gone.
we're going to keep all the
1 second.
stuff. Paramount Plus said we're going to keep all the stuff. It doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
And if you don't really like it, and this is the CEO of the Paramount company right now.
Right.
He's like, don't watch it. You
Good for him.
you
Good
tried
for
that.
him.
Don't watch it.
Good for him. Oh, speaking of applaudable moments by Hollywood, Tom Cruise achieved something he has never achieved before in his career. He now has a $1 billion movie to his name,
Yes.
all without the help of China or Russia.
Yes.
Yeah, so fucking good for you, Tom Cruise. I'm more happy about Miles Teller than I am anybody else in that movie because yeah, I mean, yeah, people, I hated him in Divergent. Okay, great, but he's a good actor,
Yeah.
the guy that played Rooster. So,
I mean, look,
No,
he has like an Academy Award movie under his
yeah, I mean,
belt,
but
or
I'm
nominated, I
legitimately
think.
excited. I mean, I'm legitimately happy for Top Gun and its entire cast and crew because I mean, dude, just this was an amazing sequel.
Yes.
I mean, and it just great, absolutely awesome. But man, I'm going to go eat, man.
Yeah, and I need to get this edited and everything before I go to bed. But
Yeah.
anyways, I'm David Dickerman,
I'm Johnny Skelton.
and this is Nerd Sports,
Nerd
episode
Sports.
63.
63. Hold on.
Victory!
There we go.
All right. Love you, everybody.